Actually surpassed sport. It was beyond sport. It united a nation, it united people, and it was just such a buzz around the country. Now, I was so young, but looking back, I can appreciate more what it did for us. And I mean, even just in my home village of Clare Galway, in County Galway, we lined the streets after the shootout and like Mexican wave, a giant Mexican wave, the whole village. It was incredible.
Everybody's got their own story. And even to this day, they come up and tell you, oh, I tell you this one, like what you're doing now, telling the story, who they were around, what's going on, and they can actually recall it so clearly with clarity. They absolutely can nail it, and it's magnificent. I just think that was another part of it. It just wasn't about the games; it was about that social experience that they all had.
It's a question of who scores most of the penalties. Well, the roar goes up because Pat Bonner is going to be first between the posts. Timopte against Bonner. Yeah. The big man from Donegal has set it up for a victory. And who is stepping forward to assume the task in his 52nd international appearance? David O'Leary. This kick can decide it all. The nation holds its breath. Yes! Ireland are through to the quarterfinals of the World Cup, and the most popular supporters in Italy have another journey to make down a road never before trodden by a Republic of Ireland team. There has never been an achievement in Irish sport to parallel this. 20,000 Irish, perhaps even more, in the Luigi Ferraris Stadium in Genoa, and they will not want to leave.
Let me tell you another story. We did meet one time. We met in 1997. In Galway, you were doing a special appearance. I couldn't wait to meet you finally. So I brought along that first jersey that I told you about. I was queuing patiently, waiting for my chance to get a photograph and to shake your hand. And at the time, I was wearing a jacket of the New York Giants American football team. And the colors are red, white, and blue.
Right.
So as I you know where I'm going with this. So I came up to you, you looked at me and said, "Is that a Rangers jacket?" I was like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think of this." Yeah.
No, you see, that because Glasgow, because I was in Glasgow, because, you know, you were exactly how I was when I was a young boy in Donegal, because Glasgow Rangers was, Celtic, of course, but not Glasgow Rangers or that whole kind of rivalry wouldn't have registered. It wasn't part of it. We grew up a lot, very much with more English football, because we had BBC, we had Match of the Day, we had the big match on ITV, we had all of that. We didn't get Scottish football, to be perfectly honest. While in Donegal there was a big Celtic following because of the connections of travelling over and back to, but we didn't see it live. So I'm sorry if I offended you
No,
or anything of that nature, but it's probably just an automatic reaction.
Lesson learned, though, Packie. Lesson learned.
Yeah. There was two things. One was that the FIFA had these rules that you couldn't wear any gloves or any markings on your body that was over a certain size. So I had to go and get new gloves made, and the gloves didn't come until we were, I think even when we were probably in Dublin halfway through. The gloves, the factory had changed. The foam that they do on the factory had changed, and I went to a Yugoslavian factory. And when the gloves came back, they just weren't the same gloves. To get used to them over that period of time was a very short period of time. So that was the first thing. So psychologically, that affected me a wee bit. The second thing then is when you went down to Orlando to our training camp, it was so warm. By the time you walked from the pavilion after you changed across to where we trained, you were absolutely covered in sweat. I lost 10 pounds in my very first training session.
Wow.
And Jack went through this thing about making sure that we were hydrated, and he used to get us to wear heavy gear, and we had to measure. We had to be weighed. We had to measure what we were drinking, and then we had to replace that thereafter. So by the time we finished a training session, we weren't allowed to drink during the training, just to see how much we had lost initially when we were out there. So that was the kind of the broad, immature science that was around it, if you know what I mean. But that was it. That was what they did probably in Mexico in the World Cup when Jack was playing too. And like I was 34 years old at that point in time. The other thing that probably affected me slightly was that I was thinking in my head, I have to do this all again. What we did in 1990, the great times, and play well, and we had to qualify, and I must admit, psychologically, I wasn't 100% ready for that tournament. And I think it showed then, of course, within the performance within the game. Mexico, we played Mexico, and it was 130 degrees inside the stadium at that point in time. As I say, I was a goalkeeper. You can imagine what the outfield players.
Yeah. But you know what? You were wearing a really heavy material shirt as well.
All of that.
I'll show that to you in a few minutes.
all of that, absolutely. There was no sports science behind that either. There was nothing, I remember Jack giving the hats. Remember the one with the hats? Inside the dressing room, this box came out with all these hats. Put the hat on you at the warm-up or in the national anthem. He had Steve done all that, as if that was going to protect them.
Again, maybe just psychologically even it might help, but I had an interview with Terry Phelan as well, and Terry was talking very similar stories to this. He said, the hats, where did they get those from? You were talking about the gloves, psychologically this affected you. Terry didn't feel right in his boots, and he said he was very peculiar about his boots, so he ran off to change his boots before the Italy game and missed the team photo. And if you look at the team photo, there's only 10 people standing there.
Wow.
Terry's away. Yeah. So Terry's away. Look at the team photo before the Italy game in the Giant Stadium. 10 people standing there. Terry's away changing his boots. But I tell everybody Terry took the photograph.
Absolutely. But I'll tell you, I didn't know that. That's a really strange.
Google it. Have a look at the image. And there's one particular angle where you see Paul McGrath like this, and he's thinking, we're missing something.
I didn't affect Paul. I certainly didn't affect Paul anyway, because he was outstanding. He was magnificent in those games.
Did you have a personal favorite football shirt? Are you sentimental about these things?
No, the one you're wearing. The yellow one. I thought it was iconic, obviously, because it was and it fitted into a special time. I love yellow.
Yes.
I think you stand out in among the group.
I'm going to stand up just to show a little bit more. So your autograph is on that. Back before the permanent marker days, it was just biro.
It was plain. It was plain. It was, but it was the yellow, and it stood out. And then we had the black shorts with the yellow stripe and the black, and I think that was the one that I preferred out of all of them. The rest of them were all kind of almost different colors and different stripes. Remember the Bumblebee one or whatever, in America.
Okay, you've said it. 1 second. Is this the one you're talking about?
That's it. Yeah.
That's the one. Okay, where am I? Watch, it's so big I can't even get it in camera shot. Yeah. Okay, did you like this?
Then they had the colors. They had different. They had the one in purple, and they had that.
Oh, one second. I'm like a shop here. Let me just check out the back, see what we have.
I like the purple one. The purple one was quite nice. Yeah, that's it. You're right. So that one, but I think from that point of view that I think a lot of the countries at that time, obviously what Adidas did at that point in time, then had one for any country that was playing in that World Cup and so on. All of the goalkeepers wore the same type of jersey. Yeah. So it wasn't quite unique to Ireland, but this one here was unique to Ireland.
Yes, it was. You're absolutely right. And what a lot of people don't realize, the difference between this one. So this was a World Cup qualifying game. So the embedded design, the little triangles, it's not on this one. No. That was later in 1990, so this is 1989. Yeah. Yes. This one, I got to show you. I talked about it at the start of our interview. This is my very first jersey.
There you go.
And so I was 7 years old, and you signed it for me when I was 17. So.
Oh, there you are. Lovely. Oh, there you go. Good man. You still have it. There you are, 17, yes. Listen, you've sent me that fantastic painting. It's a brilliant piece of artwork. Well done on that, and it's kind of quite unique. You talked about the different designs in
Yes.
New Jersey that came out, and of course, so it's a beautiful painting. And I'll try and find the right place to put it up. I haven't put it up yet because I wanted the right place to put it up.
Above the bed.
I don't know if my wife would like that. To be honest, me looking there. She would have to take down the blessed, one of the holy pictures or something.
Oh, don't do that. No.